Hey guys, and welcome to Cozy Tea. This is Rob, and you are watching my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's get into the mix. Get a cup of tea or coffee, whatever you prefer. Get a blanket, cozy up in your most comfy spot, and let's talk about some art stuff. In today's art, I decided to paint a bridge over water. I was not going to post this originally because I didn't really like it that much. I thought the bridge looked like, Play-Doh, and that's not the look I was trying to go for. But I did go back later on and make some changes, so hopefully that translates better in the final piece when you guys see that. And you can check that out at the end of the video as well as on my Instagram, which is in the link in the description below. In today's video, the art stuff that we're going to be talking about kind of goes off of what I spoke of in my last video, which was about creative/art block. But I think after some mental searching and some thinking about my life and whatnot, I realized what the issue is and where it comes from and what I need to do to take care of it. I started law school in 2018 and had decided to go there in 2017. So from probably July of 2017 until August of this year, I've been purely focused on law school, everything legally oriented, everything that's like fact-based and logistic. It's been a very highly efficient 2.5 years. Those 2.5 years were very just legal. And if you've ever read anything legal, it's dense, it's very specific, it's detail by detail, and it's just hard to get through. So that's where my mind's been. And on top of doing the law school stuff, because law school is incredibly difficult, I've also been going on a self-help binge where I've been reading books like, The Power of Habit, Atomic Habits, listening to people like Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Matt D'Avella, Thomas Frank, all these people on YouTube and other platforms, and just books and podcasts and things about how to be a better person and how to make your life more productive. And I've been really getting into that for the past 2 years because I needed to. I think when I was 24, going on 25, I was not the most organized person. So I wanted to be a little bit more efficient. That, I think it did help. But I think towards the end of my law school career, being this year, I felt like I had heard it all already. So as I was picking up more self-help books and listening to more podcasts and watching the latest Tea with Gary Vee video, I realized this is all stuff I've heard before. I think I've gotten all the advice that possibly exists up to this point. It's time to actually take action and start doing what I want to do. And that was starting this YouTube channel and beginning my journey into becoming an artist or a better artist. So at probably about the beginning of this year, I was like, well, let me crack open this sketchbook and really start doing this. I'm going to draw something every day and I'm going to post 3 or 4 times a week on Instagram. I'm going to get my numbers up. I'm going to grind all that shit, and I'm going to make this work. And so I open up the sketchbook and I sit there and I'm like, I cannot think of a single thing to put on this piece of paper. Nothing. And of course, when you have art block, you should just draw anyway. Draw your hand, draw a foot, draw a cat, whatever you see, draw it. But sometimes that's just not good enough. Sometimes we want to draw something really crazy or something really cool, something that people are going to notice because we're posting it online. I can't sit here and say that I don't want people to see my work and that I'm not doing this partially because I want people to react to what I'm doing and appreciate what I'm doing, because that's what art is. Anyone who sings, anyone who performs, anyone who does anything is like, hey, look at all this work I've put in. Please acknowledge it and tell me I'm good. I think that's the whole point. So sometimes drawing a foot just doesn't do the job that drawing something really awesome would do instead. But I went over this basically all year until this month, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't come up with a single damn thing to draw. And I used to draw all these really cool like sorcerers and albeit they weren't perfect, but they were mine, and I still have them, and I love them very much. And I just felt very creative when I started off. And I'm trying to think, what was the difference between then and now? When I started doing this versus when I'm doing this today? I think this is why. So, I was out of university for 2 years, about between undergrad and law school. And in those 2 years, I basically did anything and everything that I wanted to do. And it was a fun time, I guess. I was young, I was living on my own. It was a little tight financially, but outside of that, it was life, and I was doing what I wanted to do. But did become bored, and that's why I went to school. Anyway, I was exposing myself to so many different things. So when I started law school, and also at the same time, for some reason, got very invested in starting an art thing, I was really inspired because I had, for 2.5 years, been exposing myself to a bunch of stuff that I enjoyed to be exposed to. Eventually, all of that ran out, and the tank was empty, and there was nothing left. So, this is what I think has happened, is once I ran out of all that creativity from those 2 years, I was only subjecting myself to stuff in law school and self-help, and nothing that was related to artwork. And the issue with this is that if I want to be creative, I need to expose myself to creative stuff. I can't just read how to be a better person in 5 simple steps without also reading a fantasy novel that talks about some elf named Fiore walking through the land of Gareth with dragons and unicorns everywhere. No person has written a book without having read one first. And if they did, it wasn't a good book. That's my counter argument to you saying that someone has. Anyway, there's definite proof that anyone who does anything has done their research and been a part of the thing that they enjoy doing. You cannot be a good writer if you're not a good reader. You have to know what the reader wants. You have to know what captivates a reading audience, what plot twists, what things are audiences looking for, what things are they tired of, what tropes do they not enjoy anymore, versus the tropes that they wish they could see. Are they tired of things like the chosen one and the damsel in distress, and maybe want some type of thing that isn't like that? The author's job is to know that, but they can't know that unless they read and keep engaged with an audience and figure those things out. It's the same for music, where in order to know what beats are dope in today's times, you have to listen to what music is out there. Even if you don't necessarily like it, you need to know what's relevant and what's going to keep you in the mainstream, or at least within sight of mainstream. In art, you have to expose yourself to art to create more art. A lot of us draw or create from reference, which is totally fine. I don't care, all those people that say, if you draw from reference, you're cheating. Everyone draws from reference. Even if you're drawing from your imagination, where do you think your imagination got it from? At one point, you've seen enough people that you can draw a person. It's because you know what people look like. And yeah, you can draw a person. You need a reference, whether that reference is in your head or that reference is on a computer screen, or if you're just drawing from life, you need a reference. So the more you expose yourself to, the more that creativity fuel tank fills up. And of course, you can have an overload. So you can have an overflow of creativity and have so much going on in your head that you don't know what to pick and you're just overwhelmed. But you can also, like me, completely run it dry and have absolutely nothing left. So what I've started doing is reading at least an hour a day. I'm currently reading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanders. I heard it's a good series, so it's still in the making as well, so it's still current and relevant. But I definitely want to get back into, magic and warlocks and wizards and sorceresses and all of that. I really enjoy the realm of fantasy. So in order for me to create fantasy art, I need to expose myself to fantasy art. And I think this is going to be a good way to maintain a consistent level of creativity. You have to consume as much as you want to put out. And I think that goes true with anything. If you don't eat enough, you're not going to be able to have enough energy. So You need to eat enough creativity to put out creative energy. Another thing that I'm doing to promote my creativity and make it a little bit more powerful is to buy an art book or two every month. Currently, I only have two. I have The Secret Art of Dr. Seuss, which is a really interesting book. I was actually surprised to find some blackface in there. I didn't know that he had done that, and then I did some research and found out that there were a couple instances of it, but he did apologize for it later. Doesn't take away the fact that he did it. There is actually a couple examples of that in the book, and I was a little surprised, but I mean, he was born in like 19 something, so he was alive a long time ago. Anyway, there's that book, and then there's Peanuts, The Art of Charles Schulz, which is actually coming in the mail tomorrow, so I'm really excited to see what that's about. I love Peanuts. Charlie Brown is one of my favorite comic strips of all time, so I'm very excited for that to come in the mail. But I'm going to keep those art books coming. I'm going to keep reading books, maybe try to watch some more movies. I'm not much of a movie person, but maybe I can find some movies that I would like to watch that are going to inspire my creativity. So that's pretty much it for this video. I think I touched on all of my points, and I hope that if you're going through art block, that this helps you in trying to find a couple ways to help yourself and boost your own creativity. If you have found ways that I have not mentioned in this video, that means you know something that I don't, and you should definitely share in the comments below. I would love to hear it and find out what you do to save yourself from that horrible moment of staring at a page and not knowing what to do with it. All right, that is the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you coming in and being a part of this art journey with me as I go through it. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you so much for being here and supporting me as I go through this. If you liked the video or disliked it, there's a couple buttons down below that you can hit to express that energy if you would like. As well, if you want to see more of what I'm doing in the future, you can subscribe to my channel and stick around for a while. So if you want to do that, you can go on and do that. Also check out the Instagram. It's in the description down below. That's where I post most of my artwork, so go on and check that out if you would like. With all of that said, thank you guys again for watching. With that said, remember to stay cozy, drink your tea, have a good time, try not to stress yourself out. I know the world's crazy right now, but it's going to be okay. Just breathe, drink your tea, stay calm, stay cozy, and it'll all be fine. As well as, washing your hands and social distancing. But anyway, enough about the politics. I'm sorry. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep it real. Peace.